So we are going to proceed and look at polygons, and for you to be in a position to add the polygon, you need to activate it first. We now proceed to this point, and we have a down drop here. This is the point where we found the rectangle, and below that we have the polygon. So you need to proceed and click to activate it. So there it is activated. Now another option is to type in the name of this particular polygon, and of course that is the command name. And of course we note that the command name, if you hover the cursor of a certain object, the command name is going to be displayed in capital letters under the tooltips. We have this particular tooltip that is going to pop up once you hover the cursor of an object, and within that we have a name shown in capital letter below that particular tooltip. So that name is usually the shortcut or the shortcut command for this particular object. What we can do other than proceeding to this particular option and clicking at this point, you can now proceed when you're in selection mode. Remember, when you're in selection mode, have a crosshair, and at the intersection of the crosshair we have a square there. So in that case we can proceed and type in polygon, and of course it is going to be added in this particular command line here. Have the polygon here, and you can proceed and click to activate it. So that is also another option that we have. Now for a polygon, the first thing that you need to do is to proceed and enter the number of sides. So for example, let's say we want a three-sided polygon. Now currently what we have is a three-sided polygon. That is what we have by default. Of course, what is shown here was the last settings in this particular part. In this case, the last kind of polygon I had added was actually three-sided polygon. So for your case it could be four. Probably for your case we have four in between these particular brackets, or in between these particular arrows. Now if you have that particular number and it is the one that you still want to proceed with, other than proceeding and typing in the number once again at this point and then pressing enter, you can just proceed and press enter without even typing in anything here, because we want to still use the previous settings. In this case I'll proceed and press enter, and then the next thing, you need to specify the center of the polygon, or else you need to specify the edge. So you can decide to work with the center of the polygon, or else you can decide to work with the edge. In this case I want to specify the center of the polygon, so that is what I'm going to proceed and do. I'll click at a desirable point. Let's assume that is the point that is desirable. Click at that point. Now that of course will be the center, as we are going to see. And then after that, you need to establish whether the circle is going to be inscribed in circle or circumscribed about circle. Let's start with inscribed circle. Now if you proceed and press enter, remember by default we have circumscribed about circle. There is the one that is in between these two arrows. If I press enter, it is going to proceed and use the circumscribed about circle. Now you can proceed and click at this inscribed in circle. Just proceed and type in I, and then you press enter. And now you can note where the center is. It is actually at the point where I defined it. Now after you choose whether the circle is inscribed or circumscribed, the next thing is now to proceed and choose the rotation. You can rotate it, and then you choose the size, desirable size. Those are the next two operations that we meet here. So I want it to be in this particular direction, or else you can rotate it such that it is that. Now you can proceed and click when the orientation is correct and also the size is correct. So I can proceed and click like that. So there I have my three-sided polygon. Is actually a triangle. It's a triangle. Now I'm going to proceed back to the polygon. Then I click to activate it. Or else you can you can click at enter or press enter on your keyboard to proceed to the previous command. In this case, the previous command was the polygon. If we press enter, it is the one that is going to be activated. So of course that is a simple and easy way. So let's proceed and enter the number of sides to 4. So in this case, I need to proceed and enter 4. If you proceed and have nothing input here and then you press enter, it is going to proceed and use the 3 because it is the one that is in this particular 2 arrows here. I can proceed and press enter. Then you choose whether to specify the center of polygon or else to use the edge. Now in this case, let's just proceed with the specify center of polygon. So I'm going to specify it somewhere here. I can just proceed and specify it from any point. So let me just proceed and click at this point. And then we choose inscribed or circumscribed. So you can proceed with circumscribed. Now, if you choose nothing here and then you click enter, it's going to use inscribed because it is the one that is in this particular brackets. You can proceed and click at this point. And then you rotate and then you choose the size like that. So that is a 4-sided polygon. I'm going to press enter again, and then I choose the number to be 5, and then press enter. And then in this case, we are going to specify the center. We are going to specify using the edges. In this case, click on edge, or else type in E, then you press enter on your keyboard. With this one, after you choose the edge or to proceed with the edge, you need to specify the end point of the edge. So I'm going to click to specify the end point. Then you need to specify the second point of the edge. Of course, the second point, it could be anywhere, and that of course would determine the size of this particular polygon. Also, you can decide to rotate it the direction that you want. If you want this side to be somewhere there, you can hit and click. If you want it to be enlarged, you can of course make sure that where you specify the second point of this edge, actually a desirable point. So I'm going to click to place it like that. If you proceed with the edges, we have seen that you don't meet the inscribed or circumscribed option. I'm going to press enter again. And of course, if you press enter and it does not give you the option of adding the polygon or the command that you want, you can now proceed, or you can proceed activate that particular tool once again. Now we can proceed and choose 6, then you press enter, and we can use the edges. I'm going to click at this point to define the first point, then define the second point. Like this is actually a 6-sided polygon. Press enter. Okay, you have seen that if I pressed enter, the last command was actually not the polygon. So in that case, I can just press escape, then proceed and activate the polygon because that is what I want. Let's proceed and add a 9-sided polygon. Press enter. You can proceed with center, or else you can proceed with the edge. Now let's assume I want to add it to the center of this particular existing polygon. In this case, you'd proceed and use the snap. So proceed, and you choose or make sure that the geometric center is actually ticked. And of course, you can now proceed and hover the cursor of an edge. Once you hover the cursor of an edge of the desired object, you can now proceed and click to identify the center. Click at that point, and of course that is the center. And now I can decide whether it is inscribed or circumscribed. If I press enter, it is going to use the circumscribed. Let's say it's the one that I want to use, so I'll press enter. Of course, remember the center is there, and now I can proceed and place this particular polygon. So that is it. You can proceed and add as many polygons as you wish. So let's try a 20-sided polygon. Press enter and use the edge. I'm going to click to start placing, and it looks more of a circle because it is actually sides. 20 sides are quite many like that. These are actually a 20-sided polygon. Now with that, we are going to proceed and look at a relationship that we have already come across, the relationship between a polygon and a circle. So in this case, let's say I want to have a circle inscribed in this particular polygon. Well, we want to have a circle that is circumscribed about this polygon. In this case, I can proceed and hit on this particular down drop, then choose the option of creating a circle using 3 tangents. Click on that. I'm going to proceed and identify the first tangent, second tangent, and also the third tangent. And now we can see that this particular polygon is actually circumscribed about this particular circle. So that is the polygon, and that is what we have for these particular polygons.